This just in! Breaking news! Our top story tonight, a recent article has Bitcoin as the 6th largest currency in circulation. My question? Then why is it so hard to find some Bitcoin? Next up, the site Overstock has received $100 million for, quote, blockchain and more. I'm sure Amazon is very scared at what's going to happen from here. Also tonight, China decides to scale back on Bitcoin mining. Yay! Higher transaction fees. And finally tonight, someone at Chase had their bank account shut down for using CoinBase. Slow news day. All of this and more tonight on Crypto News. I want to welcome everyone back to the channel today. Thanks for being here. And if you want to get updates on what I'm up to and what I'm doing, I do have a Telegram group as well. You guys can check out in the description below so you know when I post videos as well as my thoughts on various crypto topics. As always, let's kick the show off with looking at some of the price trends we've seen from some of the biggest coins in the last few days. Now, we see Ripple and Bitcoin both not doing too much movement today, which is pretty rare. We've seen some huge swings for both of these coins, including some significant rallies over the course of the past week. But today, it's a calm day for the top two coins, not a lot of movement for either of them. Ethereum finally back over 1,000. It reached 1,000, then dipped back under, but now we see it at over $1,000. I can't believe we've finally seen Ethereum reach such a staggering price. Bitcoin Cash getting a little bit of something going today, but again, pretty break-even week for it. And Tron somehow, oh wait, no, Tron's actually down. What? Why is the number red? What's going on with the graph? In a world of chaos, I thought Tron was our beacon of light.
It's all a mistake. I'm just a compound interest program.
I find this suspicious. Why would Tron be down? Anyway, we also see some gains across the board for Litecoin, up 20%, not too shabby. And most of the coins in the 10 to 20 range also getting some good growth. As always in crypto these days, we have a sea of alts in the top 100 range blasting off at returns of 50% or higher. It just seems to never end with the alts right now. Moving into our first news story, we see Bitcoin is actually the 6th largest currency in terms of what's in circulation. I think this is pretty big news overall. Sure, it's not really something that's changed a lot recently. Bitcoin's only gone up about 15% over the last week or so, but it's still significant that it's that large in the context of the world. To be fair, this story did break a little while ago, but I thought it was very relevant to what's happening in the world today. We have to understand that Bitcoin is big. It's not just this crazy little internet currency that a lot of the banks want you to believe that no one's using. It is a huge thing, 6th largest in circulation, and that at the time of this article, it's more likely to be the 5th or 4th by now. Bitcoin is changing the game in terms of the way that we view currency. The vast majority of coins wouldn't exist today if it wasn't for Bitcoin. So no matter what coin you choose to support, you should at least have an appreciation and understanding of what Bitcoin has done for the world of crypto. Also for the world of my pockets.
I make it right, I make it right. Make it rain on them hoes, I make it right. I make it right, I make it rain on them hoes.
Next story. Bitcoin mining might not be what it looks like now in China in the future. So for those of you that are not familiar with where a lot of the mining pools are located, China is the giant when it comes to Bitcoin mining. And the reason is kind of simple. One of the most expensive parts of mining Bitcoin is the electricity required for your computer to solve those algorithms. So let's say you live somewhere where it costs you $100 to mine the same as $200 somewhere else. You have a competitive advantage there, and if you increase your volume wide enough, then the other person can't really beat you. They can't really make as much money, and so they can't scale the same way. Well, China has extremely cheap electricity, especially when compared to most first world countries, and this gives them a real competitive way to beat other people mining Bitcoin. According to this article from Quartz Media, this could be the beginning of the end for China's dominance in Bitcoin mining. Having shut down the exchanges where cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin are traded, the Chinese government is now going after the facilities where such currencies are mined. To do so, it's hitting such operations where it hurts. Electricity supply. And you guys might remember back in 2013, if you're more of an OG in the crypto world, Bitcoin spiked huge to $1,200, $1,300 and then dropped off, reaching levels as low as around $150, $180 before rebounding. And it happened in a pretty short period of time. We saw a massive spike in the price of Bitcoin. I actually was in Bitcoin at that time and I just couldn't believe what was happening. It was all surreal and then it crashed. So for some of the people that are new to crypto, that experience in terms of the price change would be like Bitcoin going from where it is now at around $17,000 or so, all the way down to $3,000 or $4,000. Do I think that's going to happen again? Don't think it's too likely, certainly possible, but it has happened in the past. The question you at home might be asking yourself is, well, how would this affect transaction cost? And the number of people that are mining Bitcoin actually doesn't matter when it comes to the price of Bitcoin. What matters is the total amount of hashing power. It's unlikely to have too big of an impact on the total price, but if there is less hashing power causing blocks to come slower and fewer transactions are processed, then in the near future, it could increase the fees of transactions. However, what does happen, and one of the great things about Bitcoin is, as there's more opportunity to mine, then other people in other areas might step in because it becomes more profitable for them. So overall, I wouldn't be too concerned about the future of Bitcoin mining. And I actually think it's kind of a good thing for mining to be less centralized in China and spread out more across the world. Our next story doesn't mean much in isolation, but what it could signal moving forward is a big deal. This story is from Reddit, where someone posted that Chase Bank closed his business account of over 10 years due to CoinBase. In the post, he says, "Now, they didn't come out and say that was the reason, but I know that's the reason after doing some Googling. Be careful, guys. They could have just warned me and I would have switched Coinbase to one of my other accounts. Damn, this is frustrating." But basically it goes on to say the problems here, with crypto and the legal process and banking. And yet, you know what? If big banks are going to shut down your account for having Coinbase listed or any other major exchange, this is going to hurt cryptocurrency. I think something that's important, that you guys should think about is that everyone always likes to promote what they're doing, to try and, further their agenda. Not just even like the people that are, shilling Ponzi schemes like BitConnect, but even other legitimate currencies. Everyone wants it to seem great, seem awesome. One of the things that kind of tilts me about Bitcoin, as a Bitcoin enthusiast, again, I'm still a proponent of Bitcoin over anything else. One of the things that tilts me is when people seem to forget that Bitcoin transactions used to be cheap and fast, and now they're expensive and slow. And they say that it's actually not a big deal. It's actually a feature because it's a store of value and not a currency. Well, that's not what the idea of Bitcoin was when it started. And if Bitcoin Cash has any merit, it's the fact they're trying to take it back there. Now, I don't agree with the way that Bitcoin Cash is doing it or the people running it, but the idea is that we should be striving to try and make Bitcoin transactions both cheaper and faster. Taking it back to getting bad news, if banks or major governments take steps against Bitcoin, it's going to hurt, at least in the short term, for price. If we see major crackdowns in places like the United States, the price would absolutely get hammered. So that risk is there with cryptocurrency. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, Doug, it's going to win. Like, fuck you, man. We know that it's going to win. And you know what? I think long run crypto will win because it's better. It's better than fiat currency. You don't have someone just printing more. It's decentralized. It's so much better even in just its use and being able to transfer over the internet hopefully quickly and cheaply versus having to have cash in your pocket. There's no doubt cryptocurrency is superior to fiat currency. However, there will be road bumps, and governments and banks could play a major role in deciding what happens in the short term. I would not be surprised at all after some of the things we've seen from both Chase or Bank of America for them to come out, ban these things, make statements, and see a price drop. Long run, I believe that cryptocurrency will win, but be prepared for these road bumps that could happen along the way. And finally tonight, the company Overstock has received $100 million in funding to pursue blockchain and other things relating to it. According to this article from CoinDesk, Overstock has gotten $100 million from the Soros fund. Overstock.com just got a hefty chunk of change from one of the biggest names in finance, and CEO Patrick Byrne says much of it will fund the company's blockchain work. The company disclosed in a Securities and Exchange Commission filing this week that the holder of a warrant had exercised its right to buy $100 million worth of shares. Although the filing did not identify this investor, Byrne told CoinDesk it was the Quantum Fund managed by billionaire George Soros. Now, in the fine print, it appears of the 100 million, 20 million of it is going to go to the blockchain property rights joint venture, and 80 million is going to go across Overstock's flagship e-commerce platform. So this definitely got a little spin in the crypto world of like, this is all for blockchain, quote, and more, making it sound like it's more blockchain stuff, but it's actually for their platform. So kind of a mixed story here. Obviously good. $20 million going towards blockchain research for bigger companies. We love to hear that. That's what we want to see. We want to see more implementation and use across the space. But most of it's going to just their platform, which, it's not Amazon, it's Overstock, probably needs a little work. This is not the last time we're going to see a story like this. This is going to keep happening. More and more people are getting in. More and more billionaires are firing the bullets. More and more funds are seeing opportunity. More and more people are learning about the world. It's an exciting time to be in crypto, and I'm sure glad to be here to bring you guys the news. Thanks for joining me today for Crypto News, and if you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button and join the team.